Good evening, good evening, good evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in to the dinner table. Your brother Tony has some good food for the soul. And while you're coming to the dinner table, go ahead and invite some more family members and friends. And keep in mind, my brother and sister, we may have some guests that come to the dinner table. So if you don't mind, just scoot over a little bit and let our guests come in because, hey, we got plenty of good food for the soul. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships, my brothers and sisters, in regard to a man and a woman that should be moving towards a successful and fulfilling relationship. And I strongly believe in the position of a man and a woman in a relationship. And I get my documentation and my viewpoint from when you go to the book of Genesis and God's word. God is the one that established the relationship between the man and the woman with him as the foundation of the relationship. That's the position that I strongly come from. Now, if you come to the dinner table and you believe in another type of relationship, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do. But if you sit at the dinner table, my position on a relationship is like God's position. When you look in Genesis, that's God's position. God created male and female, and that's my viewpoint. And like I said, you have free will. You can do whatever you choose to do, but I would like to encourage you to sit at the dinner table so you can still get some of this good food for the soul. With that said, my brother and sister, I would like to inform you that I'm on 2 different platforms. I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube. Those of you that are on Facebook, I may make some comments to those that are on YouTube. You may not see that person's name or comment, but I will call it that person's name and comment. Those of you that are on YouTube, I may speak to someone on Facebook. I may call out their name in a comment. You may not see it, but we're all brothers and sisters here. And when you come to the dinner table, my brothers and sisters, I would like for you all to be encouraged to make your comments. You can ask questions because we're here at the dinner table in this family time, okay? Just be very respectful for the brothers and sisters and any guest that comes to the dinner table. With that said, we're about to look at the menu. And we look at the menu tonight. We look at what we're cooking and what I have cooked, by the way. How do most men and women self-sabotage a good relationship? Again, how do most men and women self-sabotage a good relationship? How you doing, brother Jashawn Murphy? How you doing? I hope that you're doing well, brother. It's good to see you at the dinner table. Now, my brother and sister, this is a good topic that we're going to talk about tonight, self-sabotaging. There are a lot of men, most men, and most women. This is not geared to one gender. It can go from a man or a woman. I mean, because both men and women self-sabotage a good relationship. Now, the core thing or the bottom line is why and how. Now, you more than likely, my brothers and sisters, have met a man or a woman. Hopefully, I'm not talking, about you being one of them that goes from one relationship to another relationship, or who don't know what it's like to be in at least one healthy relationship. Don't you know, my brother and sister, there are many men and women up in age. I'm talking about in their 30s, 40, 50, 60, knocking on the door of 70 and have not experienced at least one healthy relationship in his or her lifetime. And a lot of times, my brother and sister, there is a reason why. And that's what we're going to talk about at the dinner table. How do most men and women self-sabotage a good relationship? Now, what does self-sabotaging come from? It's a behavior that refers to, and hold on, my phone is talking to me, and she said that she don't understand me. I wasn't even talking to her, but hold on, let me cut her off. Okay, maybe she won't interrupt now. But I'm sorry, my brother and sister, but self-sabotage, my brother and sister, is a behavior that refers to intentional action or inaction that undermines people progress and prevent them from accomplishing their goals. Self-sabotage, my brother and sister, occurs when people hinder their own success. But we'll talk about relationships, okay? Now, I did a little research, and according to Harananda Natajan, that's Natarajn, is a certified emotional intelligent practitioner. When it comes to self-sabotaging, it is like an enemy who knows you completely and attack accordingly. Psychologists say that it is a subconscious thing, my brothers and sisters, that acts that permits specific people to destruct their lives. This behavior often results of self-criticism, self-doubt, or self-hatred. Listen to this again. Self-criticism, self-doubt, or self-hatred. Now, the two of the main prevailing cause from a worldly standpoint, my brother and sister, or a worldly standpoint, is that man or woman more than likely something happened in his or her childhood. It was something difficult in his or her childhood that they would deal with that did not get resolved, or it branched off into as they got older and older and they had difficulties in past relationships. So there are some men and women that's toting around a whole bunch of baggage. They collect baggage, and no matter what he or she ends up at, they continue to take baggage into another relationship, and that's what we're talking about. Now, these reasons include several things. I'm going to list a few. It could include insecurity, attachment. You know, some people, my brother and sister, they're so insecure when it comes to a relationship. They're always suspicious of another person. A lot of these people have low self-esteem. I mean, they have a whole bunch of pity party. There are some people that fear of getting hurt. They have this fear of getting hurt, so they're gonna always have this closed door, and you can't get nowhere close to them. They fear to commit. For some reason, they fear to commit. The reason why they fear to commit is because a lot of time, what happened in the childhood or what happened in other relationships, and they have the unhealthy relationships belief. What they believe about a relationship, it leaves you scratching your head, my brother and sister. But to tell you the real reason, my brother and sister, listen to this. When it comes to sabotaging a good relationship, the things that I have just told you, that's basically from a worldly standpoint. But to get down to the nitty gritty, let me tell you what it's really about. It's really about, it's a spiritual thing, my brother and sister. It's really spiritual. While a man and a woman self-sabotage not only his or herself, but they self-sabotage a good relationship. Now, the man and the woman doesn't, first of all, the man and the woman, believe it or not, it's deep, my brother and sister. Called man and a woman, you got to understand this. Like I always say, a man and a woman is one person. However, that man and woman is made of three components. How you doing, Sister Tanya Parker? Welcome to the dinner table. A man and a woman is made of spirit, soul, and body. So everything that happened, my brother and sister, it started in the spiritual realm first, okay? And then it goes to the soul, then it comes to the physical world. So you got to understand that where the root of it at. And in self-sabotaging, most men and women, they don't have a relationship with God. That's a key component. Most men and women do not have a relationship with God. So therefore, they are prone to self-sabotage the relationship, and they don't even understand it. You know what I mean? Now, therefore, a man and a woman doesn't know nor understand what love is. They don't understand. They don't know what love is. They got opinions and thoughts about what love is, but they really don't understand love is that of God. As it is written in the book of 1 John 4:8. That's 1 John 4:8. 1 John 4:8. 1 John 4:8. He that loveth not knoweth not God. So if a man or woman doesn't love, he or she doesn't know God, because therefore a man and woman cannot understand, neither can they experience love, for God is love. Therefore, a man and woman that self-sabotage their relationship, they cannot experience, nor can that man or woman express love because they don't love themselves. So if a man or woman doesn't understand love or never experience love, being that of having a relationship with God, how can a man or woman love his or herself? They can't. And so if a man and woman can't love God first, if a man and woman can't love his or herself, how can a man and woman love a potential mate? You got to remember this, my brother and sister. Hurt people hurt people. Understand that. I'm going to say it again. Hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Let that sink in, my brother and sister. Let that sink in. Now, my brother and sister, I have done some research into this, what I'm about to present to you, and how a lot of men and women self-sabotage. And I got some of this stuff from sources across the web, okay? Now, one thing about it, here are some signs of being a man or a woman self-sabotaging a relationship. We're self-sabotaging a relationship. The first thing about it, as you notice what's in my hand now, my brother and sister, most men and most women does not look into the mirror. You see what the cause of his or her problem when it comes to a relationship. Most men and most women play the victim when it comes to a relationship. You will hear a lot of women talk about there's no men that are not good. All the men that I have dealt with, they have cheated on me, they lied to me. And then there are some men, they will say, no, women aren't no good. All they do is want money. And once they get what they want, they gone. But what is the common denominator in the equation? The woman that said there are no good men, and that a lot of men cheat and lie, what's the common denominator? She is. What about the men that say all women want is money, and once they gone and stuff, what's the common denominator? The man. So a lot of men and women, they do not pick up the mirror and self-analyze and be honest with his or herself, just like this mirror. That's why some men and women, they need to be honest with themselves and say, could I be the problem? Because believe me, brother and sister, sometimes the man or woman, his or herself, is the problem, and that man or woman self-sabotage the relationship. And these are some signs, my brother and sister. You may be in a relationship right now, not talking mostly to you single brothers and sisters, and it can apply to men and women that are already in a in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship. There are the few points that I'm going to make. Number one, how some men and women self-sabotage the relationship. Insecure attachment. They always feeling insecure. There's nothing a potential mate can say to have that man or woman thinking or feeling a little secure. They always are suspicious. And they let that potential man and woman know that they're suspicious, to the point where that man and woman will come up and say, why are you always questioning things? Why are you always so insecure? Like some men and women, they could be out with a potential mate, and a potential mate could speak to someone of the opposite gender or the opposite sex. And then the next thing you know, that insecure person would say something like, how do you know that man or woman? Did you all used to have something going on in the past? Do you still talk to that man or woman? Do y'all ever still see one another? These are insecurities that a lot of people that want to self-sabotage the relationship, and that count against them. Number two, there is a lot of jealousy. People that sabotage their relationship, they exhibit jealousy. And what is jealousy? Jealousy, I'm paraphrasing this, that when someone getting the attention that that man or woman think that he or she deserves. So that's jealousy. So there are a lot of brothers and there are a lot of sisters that experience jealousy when it comes to a potential mate. This ain't only a worldly thing, but most of it is contribute to the world. But it's sad to say there are a lot of brothers and sisters in Christ, they display jealousy when they're trying to before they can get into a serious, committed, and covenant relationship. Cause and that comes from low self-esteem. And just because you see a man and woman, that goes back to talking to someone else, or the man and woman seem to look at someone else or whatever, then you all of a sudden getting jealous. You know what I mean? That's wrong. And you could run a person off, my brother and sister, that if you continue to show a lot of jealousy behavior, which goes to number 3. A lot of people that self-sabotage relationships, my brother and sister, they have unrealistic expectations. What do I mean by that? When it comes to a relationship, a man or a woman that gets in a relationship with a man, sister, or woman, brother, you have these cartoon images of how a relationship's supposed to be. You look at TV too much. You look at the cartoons. You look at Lifetime. You look at these movies that the average movie could go for about maybe 2 hours, the average. And when you look at stuff like Lifetime, it may be an hour, you ladies. And you think that a relationship can go from point A to point B within 2 hours. That's entertainment. Romantic novels are entertainment. When you read a romantic novel, the only thing about a romantic novel, it could take you to different places, but the core of romantic novels, the core of romantic movies and stuff like that, it's the same formula. You have the woman that meets the man, and you could tell that they like one another, and then there are going to be a few conflicts that they got to work through, and at the end, they're going to get together. That's how romance works. And there are a lot of men, and there are a lot of women that got unrealistic expectations. There is not no man that is 100% flawless. Brother, there's not one woman that's 100% flawless. Every man and every woman that you're going to meet, especially a man and woman that you're thinking about being in a relationship with, you cannot have unrealistic expectations, because you got to understand that only Jesus is the only one that walked on this earth for 33 years, and he did not commit not one sin. Every man and every woman, my brothers and sisters, that you have met or you will meet have had a sinful past. There ain't no such thing as a big sin and a little sin. You got to get down and understand it. There are no big, now to a man and a woman, there's a such thing as a big sin, a little sin. But before God, there's no such thing as a big sin or a little sin. A sin is a sin. Anytime you do something that transgress the law of God or displease God like that, that is a sin. And therefore, you have unrealistic expectation. Jesus don't even have no unrealistic expectation of men and women. When Jesus was down here, Jesus did not need no one to testify about a man or woman, because he already knew the core of what's happening on the inside of a man and a woman. You got to understand that. So stop having the unrealistic expectations when it comes to a relationship, because if you do, you're going to self-sabotage a good relationship. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. Sister Parker said, accountability is everything. I had to examine myself so I wouldn't bring that into my next relationship. Some change is necessary to become a better version of yourself. Amen, sister. We all have to be accountable, my brother and sister. If we don't do this sometime, if we don't look in the mirror and take a self-evaluation of ourselves, we're going to miss the mark, because most men and most women always point at that potential mate. If you understand this, most men and women, they got this criteria that they go by. And every time they'll point at that man or woman, say, you did this, you didn't do this, or you this way, you this way, you need to change and all that. Why are you pointing one finger at the other person? Look, it always be 3 fingers coming back at you. Jesus even made a statement, because most of the time when you run to a hypocritical person, most hypocritical people, they always point out a person flawed. If you notice that, hopefully I'm not talking to you, my brother and sister, but most Hypocritical people, they always are focusing in on flaws in other people, especially when it comes to a relationship. You got some men that always want to nitpick a woman about something she did or didn't do. And vice versa. There are some women that want to nitpick things what a man do or doesn't do. But believe me, whenever you bring something up about another person, guess what? He or she can actually bring something up against you. Because, brother and sister, you are not perfect. You got to understand it. There's no man, any brother and sister I'm talking to right now, you're not perfect. Your brother Tony is not perfect. Your brother Tony, wife Cinderella, she's not perfect. There are nobody perfect. Because if you have unrealistic expectations, my brother and sister, you're going to self-sabotage your relationship. So you're going to have to grow up. Hopefully you've been growing up, or hopefully I brought it to your attention. Look in the mirror, and some of you brother and sister got to grow up. Number 4, breaking promises. A lot of people that self-sabotage relationship, the potential person cannot take you for your word. They listen to your word and they look at your action. Your word and action not too much match up. In the early part, when you were thrilled to get in a relationship with that man or woman, you try to have a balance of your word and action. But as time go on and you got a little comfortable, you start breaking a whole bunch of promises. So that potential person, they can't really go that far with you because they know that you break promises so much. But you want him or her to keep promises to you. That's a master hypocrite person that self-sabotage relationship. Most people that always focusing on whether a man or woman broke a promise, these be the main men and women that always break promises. They always break promises. That's why, and that's another reason why some men and women self-sabotage relationship. Number 5, trust difficulties. Some men and women, you have trust issues. I know, my brother, and I know, my sister, that you should not put 100% trust in a man or woman. We got to establish that. Never put 100% trust in a man and woman. The only person that a man and woman put 100% trust into is the Lord. If you put the Lord in his rightful place in your life, the Lord is the only one that go on a pedestal. Now, if you're into a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, you can praise the person, but you don't put that person on a pedestal. You understand? You do not do that. Only the Lord go on a pedestal, because the Lord will never hurt you or disappoint you. But you got to understand this, my brother and sister, that person that you decide to get into a relationship with, there will be some time where that person may disappoint you. There may be some time that that person may hurt you, especially if you're in a relationship for a long period of time. Your relationship, you're not going to have the sun every day. You're going to have some rainy days in a relationship. When it comes to a relationship, you got to understand this. There are always going to be storms in a relationship. You will either be going into a storm, you will be in the midst of the storm, or you will be coming out of the storm. But if you have Jesus in your relationship, my brother and sister, Jesus will go in the storm with you. Jesus will be in the storm with you, and Jesus will come out of the storm with you. As a matter of fact, this little story about Jesus. Jesus was asleep down at the bottom part of a ship. Him and his disciples on his ship. He was down at the bottom, chilling out, asleep. A bad storm came up. You see, when Jesus and his disciples got on the ship and they left, it was a bright sunny day. But the clouds and stuff started forming, but Jesus was on the ship with them. Keep this in mind. Jesus was still on the ship, but he was at the bottom asleep. Physically, he was asleep. But the God part of Jesus never goes to sleep. You got to understand that, because Jesus was God in human flesh. So his flesh was asleep, but his spirit never goes to sleep, never did go to sleep. You got to understand that. So Jesus at the bottom, and this storm came up. So Jesus was in the ship with his disciples when they were going into the storm. The storm hit real hard. Now, Jesus was in the middle of the storm with his disciples, like he would be with you, brothers and sisters. They panicked. It was dark, no light. thunder, lightning, water coming all on the ship. They thought they were going to drown. They thought they were going to lose their lives. They ran down to the bottom part of the ship. They woke Jesus up and told Jesus about the storm. Jesus already knew that it was storming. Jesus seen the storm when he was up in heaven with God the Father and the Holy Spirit. It did not surprise Jesus. They was panicking, but they had Jesus in the ship with them, and they had a relationship with him. What did Jesus do? Jesus came out of the bottom of the ship, and he got wet just like them. The wind hit Jesus' face just like it hit them. Jesus said, "Peace, be still." And the storm stopped. That's what happened, my brother and sister. Jesus is the only one that you got to understand. He will go into a storm with you, even if you're single. He will go into a storm with you. He will be in the storm with you, and he will come out of the storm with you. Because that amazed his disciples when they said, "What kind of man can cause the elements to listen to his voice?" And that's how Jesus is, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship. So when it comes to trust, you should only trust Jesus first. Now, that person that you're in a relationship with, you can have a high level of trust, but never trust a man or woman 100%. I love my wife, Cinderella. She loved me. A matter of fact, I asked her today, do she love me? I said, "Cinderella, do you love me?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you think I love you?" She said, "I know you love me." You see, she didn't say, "I feel that." She did not say, "I feel that you love me." She said, "I know you love me." You see, it's a different, my brother and sister, when a man or woman say, "I know you love me," instead of saying, "I feel you love me." No is convincing. So what Cinderella was doing, she was not going only by her emotion, being a woman. She was going by facts. She was going by my word to her, and she was also going by my action. How you doing, Sister Foot? Welcome to the dinner table. So you got to understand, my brother and sister, trust the Lord 100%, but never trust a man or woman 100%. You could trust them on a high level because that man or woman going to hurt you, or they're going to disappoint you. Got to understand that. So stop jumping from one relationship to another relationship thinking that that man or woman will never hurt you or disappoint you. If you think that you could find a man or woman that would never hurt you or disappoint you or even tell you a lie, a man or woman may tell you a lie that you're in a relationship with. As a matter of fact, you may tell a man or woman a lie. Now, there's some of you would say, "I ain't no lie." Well, what you think a partial truth is? What you think a half a truth is? That's a lie. You understand? So you don't know. That's why if you do not put a man or woman on a pedestal like you got the Lord, when that man or woman mess up, cause he or she will, when you mess up, you will, that will help you to be able to forgive that man or woman so you won't hold grudges. Moving along to number 6. How do most men and women self-sabotage a good relationship? They have destructive behavior. Very destructive behavior. Have you, my brother and sister, seen a man or woman that got very destructive behavior? And you wonder, should I advance in a relationship with him or her? Because it's a problem with that man or woman. He or she can't see it, but they got very destructive behavior. These type of people, you may think that he or she may be suicidal. You just might think it. And when you listen to how him or her talk, they be making it sound like there's no hope. Stuff like that. There's no hope. And these people are subject to take their life. There are some people like that. You don't want to believe, my brothers. There are some men and women that are they will self-destruct. Number 7, ignoring negative emotions. There are a lot of men and women. They have a whole bunch of negativity in them, which goes to a whole bunch of these men and women. They tote around all these negative bags. How you doing, Sister Foot? Welcome to the dinner table. Yes. Welcome to. And now we're going to criticism. You know how a lot of men and women self-sabotage their relationship? They criticize too much. Brother and sister, do a self-examination and say, do you criticize that man or woman that you're trying to build a relationship up with? How long do you think a man or woman gonna put up with you keep criticizing them? You don't have nothing good to say. When that man and woman doing something good, have did something good for you, you won't say nothing. But when they do anything else, you want to criticize them. So the folks said, yes, I have seen people with bad behavior. Amen. We have all did that. If we all are be honest, we have seen that. Hopefully we're not one of them, okay? So how some people self-destruct or self-sabotage relationship, you could run a person away by criticizing them too much. Number 9, serial dating. A man and a woman that has that will sabotage a good relationship. These people do serial dating. They will never be, they really won't be serious about a relationship. They never will be able, they won't commit to a relationship. So if a man and woman cannot be serious or cannot commit, how can that man and woman move towards the final part of the relationship when you say I do? That's the covenant part of relationship. So you got these people that go from, like I said, they go from relationship to a relationship. Do you know any men or women, my brother and sister, you talk to them and they be talking so highly about this other man and woman, right? They'll say, I just met somebody, and they be talking so good about this man and woman. They be glowing and stuff. Then the next thing you know, a few days later, they talking about someone else. And then they blow these people up. Then you scratching your head. What about this other person that you just told me about 2 days ago? Or they can go out on a date with somebody and say, I had a ball with that man and woman, and I'm looking forward to us going out next weekend. Then the next thing you know, here come another man and woman that they just met, and they just glow over that man and woman, and now they're going to go out on a date with that other man and woman on the weekend, which means they're going to either cancel that other one or they're going to ghost that man and woman. Serial dating. These type of individuals self-sabotage a good relationship. And here go another sneaker one. How some people self-sabotage a relationship. And some of you brothers and sisters, you may have experienced a relationship like that before. I hope you're not one of them, what I'm about to say. Silent treatment. Have you ever been in a relationship, my brother and sister, with someone, hopefully you're not that person, but they give you the silent treatment, and you wonder what you have done? You single brothers and sisters, listen to me. And that go for you married people too, because it shows something on a married. When a man and a woman is married, and one of them display the silent treatment, that's wintertime all the way around. The man and woman, they don't say nothing to one another unless absolutely necessary. They could get up in the morning, do not say nothing to one another. They could walk by one another, don't say nothing. As a matter of fact, they'll move over to the side. If this man and woman, husband and wife, they could be in the bed with one another, and they could be in a king size bed. Once upon a time, they used to meet in the middle of the bed and cuddle, but now they both cliffhanging in the bed. One is almost about to fall on the right side, and one about to fall on the left side. That's what cliffhanger. You at the edge of the bed about to fall. That's how some people are. They get a silent treatment. And to some people, it's a big game. Some people, they'll say, well, I'm not going to say nothing until he or she say something. And a lot of people, they are narcissists. Now, the master manipulation, what a narcissist use, is the silent treatment, because it is a control mechanism. I'm going to tell you, my brother and sister, hopefully I'm not talking to you. That's right, Sister Flo. Cliffhanger. Sister Foot says, sometimes, Pastor, it happens because people will hide behind a lie. Then the red flag start falling out. Amen, sister. You're right about that. So these silent treatment, my brother and sister, this is one main self-sabotage to a good relationship, because you don't want to talk. And this is another thing, you brother and sister may have been in a relationship with somebody. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone that give you the silent treatment? And then when they phone ring, they be laughing and joking and everything on the phone like nothing didn't happen. But when they got the phone, they turn cold again. Hey, yeah, I have experienced that before. And that's why I'm with Cinderella right now today. But anyway, moving right along. And another thing, unhealthy relationship belief. There are some men and women, they got crazy ideas about how a relationship should be. Crazy idea. And when you listen to them and they be talking about from a worldly standpoint, how the world do things, what they learned on TV, what they learned about looking at other people's relationship, worldly people relationship. Some people think if you got a whole bunch of money, if you got that big house, if you could do all these great things, they look at people, they will call some of these people power couple. When a lot of times people say power couple, they talking about from the world position. You all know some people from the world that the world say a power couple, right? You see, when the world say a power couple, these are some people that's out in the that you have heard their name. You heard the man name and the woman name. They don't even have to say their last name. They just give you the first name and the last name, and you know who they are, right? They may be popular. They may have a position of power. They may have a whole bunch of wealth and everything, but you call them power couple. Don't go by that stuff, because just because they call a power couple, you don't know what's going on that inside of their home. Because you see, they doing that for the media. A lot of that stuff is not real, my brother and sister. There are some men and women that don't have all that stuff, and they living from paycheck to paycheck, but they real. That's the real power couple, because the real power couple have the Lord Jesus in their lives. And you have to understand that. Number 12, some men and women that cause self-sabotage to their relationship, they feel unworthy. These type of people be going around, oh, woe is me. Nobody love me. Nobody. I don't have no friend. What they don't understand, the Bible said to have friends, you got to show yourself friendly. Have you all ever met a person like that? Why would you want to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't feel unworthy? You see, a man and woman need to understand you worth something because God created you. So you worth something. Number 13, fear of getting hurt. There are so many men and women, they don't want to open up. How can you advance in a relationship unless you show some form of transparency? You have to give another man or woman an opportunity to express his or herself. But you have to do it with patience. When it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister, once you had that conversation, are we going to be serious? What type of relationship we're going to be in? Okay, we're going to be in a serious relationship. Okay, I'm ready to commit to the relationship. That means if I'm on a dating site, I got to get off that dating site. If I'm seeing other people, I got to stop seeing those other people, because I say I'm serious with you and I'm committed to you. So what I'm doing, I need to get to the point where I want to invest all of my life into this other person after my relationship with God. You understand? So that's what I need to do. So I can't feel getting hurt. When it comes to Lord, my brother and sister, you got to take a chance. Jesus took a chance, and he know we're gonna mess up a lot. How you think Jesus feel when Jesus showed that he loved us? But he take a chance with us. That's what you have to do, my brother and sister. I know you ain't Jesus, but when it comes to a relationship, you can't feel getting hurt. Perfect love casts out fear. You can't fear to love. That's why I told you, brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, whenever a person come in front of you, you do that quick prayer to God and ask God to show you what type of person is in front of you. Number 14, avoiding commitment. A man and woman may say they're serious with you, but they will not commit to you. They'll say stuff like, let's see where this go. And that see where it can go could go on for 20 some years. These men may give you an engagement ring that you, sister, know is a shut up ring. They won't marry you. They fear, they avoid commitment. They don't want to talk about commitment. There are some women that don't want to talk about commitment. There are some women that say, I got everything. I got my PhD. I got my big house. I got my fancy. I got my high-end car. I make my own money. All I need is a company every now and then. That's how some women talk too. But they don't want to get committed. I don't want to get married now. I don't want to get married. But we could play getting married. That's called friends with benefit. As a matter of fact, my brother and sister, I'm letting you know right now, Lord willing, we're going to talk about friends with benefit tomorrow night at the dinner table. We're going to touch on friends with benefit tomorrow at the dinner table, Lord willing, okay? And avoiding physical intimacy. These are for the married people. Some of you married people, let me just break it down to you, brother and sister, like this. Let's get real tonight. And I have told you this before, my brother and sister. Most men and women that get married, let's just be real. Let's just be real. Most men and women that have gotten married had sex before they got married. That's right. I know that's going to surprise a lot of you brothers and sisters, because most of you brothers and sisters think that men and women that get married, especially in the Western society, the man was a virgin and the woman was a virgin. And when they got married, they discovered each other. But let me tell you something, brother. I'm talking to a whole bunch of you brothers right now. Listen to me, brothers. I'm going to go all the way down to, let me see how far I'm going to go down. And I'm going to be generous. A lot of women probably know about sex, have experienced sex before they got 13 years of age. And I'm being generous. And some of you guys, if you don't be lying, some of you know about sex when you probably got around about 18, if you ain't lying, you know what I mean? But most men and women have had sexual experiences. Some men and women have had so many sexual experiences, they could remember some of the names. But some men and women can't remember all the names. If you ask a lot of men and women, write down all your sexual partners, they could write down some of them. Say go back, way back. I mean, way back, and write on a list, write down your sexual partners. And some men and women, they'll be start writing their sexual partners, and then they'll have to go back and say, oh, I forgot that one. I forgot that one. Then a few days go by and say, oh, I forgot to add that one. A lot of people had that. A lot of men and a lot of women have had sexual experience with a lot of people. That's what a lot of you brothers need to realize. There are a lot of you brothers that for some reason you don't understand the woman that you met. More than likely, she have had sex with more than you. And then she could have had sex with less than you. But there are some of you guys that are hypocrites. You have had a whole bunch of sexual expression, if you ain't lying, with several women. But you want this woman to be close to a virgin or a virgin. But you done had all these other women. This how our society is. In the Western civilization, a lot of you guys, you're hypocrites. You know you've been with more than one woman before you met that woman. And a lot of times women accept that. A lot of times women don't have no big hangover when they know that the man that they're in a relationship with have had several women. Some women don't have no problem with when she know that a man that's the father of that baby, that baby, that baby, that baby. Some women don't have no problem with it. Long as you be good to me, like the SOS used to say, long as you be good to me. That's how some women handle it. But let a woman have 1, 2, and 3 or 4 children by different daddy. The man will get berserk. But he don't think about all those children that he got by other women. But that woman, she got to, that means she's too promiscuous. Hypocrite. But going to the marriage part, there are a lot of you men and women that get married. You avoid physical intimacy. Don't you know Paul talked about that, my brother and sister? He talked about that to the church of Corinth. There were some married men and women, they were holding back sexually. Brother and sister, if you get married, let me tell you something, brother. If you get married and you healthy, sex is a part of the relationship. Don't think you can wild out before you are getting married, and then when you get married, you want to stop doing some of the stuff you did before. And I have heard of stuff like that before. There are some men and women, you were doing all kinds of stuff. You were doing double monkey back flips. You were swinging from the chandelier before you said I do. But then when you got married, you tell your partner, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't like doing that. You did it then. Don't you know that you have created a monster before you got married? So whatever you did before you got married, that's what your partner expect for you to do and more. So brother and sister, do not get married. There are some of you sisters, a lot of you all play like you got a headache. And you know good and well you ain't got no headache. Or you try to make yourself unattractive. And you try to wait till that man go to sleep. You try to wait till you go to sleep. And then some of you guys, you act like you're too tired. But if you don't have no health problems, brother and sister, if you're not going through your monthly flow, there's no reason why you should hold back physical intimacy. Because if you do hold back physical intimacy, the Bible clearly say that Satan may tempt you for your inconsistency. How would Satan tempt you? He know that man need, as Marvin Gaye say, sexual healing. That woman need sexual healing. Satan know that you need sexual healing. So you're going to pull back from your mate. And when you pull back from your mate, Satan said he or she need to be fed. I got a man or woman that could feed him or her. Then that's when somebody start going out the back door. That's when all this other stuff happened, because you thought that man and woman wasn't going to do nothing. Let me bring you up on this, my brother and sister. If you play that kind of game with holding physical intimacy from your mate, you're opening the door for someone else to help you out. Now, moving right along. Critical of the partner. Your partner just can't do nothing right. And some people will say, you just don't do nothing right. They even call you can't get right. You can't do nothing right. That's self-sabotaging relationship. Number 17, gaslighting. When a person self-sabotage relationship, they gaslight. What they do, they try to twist things around on their mate that cause their mate to think that he or she is crazy. And they be telling the truth, but you know how to flip it around because you're a narcissist. And that's what you call gaslight. Number 18, hold grudges. Holding grudges. There are some men and women that if their mate do something, hopefully I'm not talking to you, you hold grudges, but you want people to forgive you. How can you expect for somebody to forgive you when you holding grudges? It's not going to work. Even the Lord, you hold the Lord hand, you want the Lord to forgive you, but you can't forgive other people. The Lord can't forgive you if you're not forgiving other people. Jesus plainly said, Jesus talked about that. You got to forgive others. Number 19, lack of relationship skills. Brother, you don't know how to interact with a woman. Sister, you don't know how to interact with a man. You look at too much TV. You listen to too many. Brother, you listen to too many men at the barbershop. Sister, you listen to too many women at the beauty shop. You get all these ideas, wrong ideas, worldly ideas, but it's wrong. Grow up, my brother and sister, and learn if you lack relationship skills, pray to God and ask God, brother, to teach you how to interact with a woman. Sister, ask God to show you and guide you how to interact with a man. No man or no woman coming to this world with all that in him or her. You have to go to the Lord, because the Lord is the originator, the architect of relationships. So that's the source to go to for relationship skill. Number 20, looking for an exit. When something happens, you be quick to say, that's it, I'm done. And you have all these lists of things. If he or she does this, I'm out of the relationship. Quick to want to leave the relationship. That man or woman is not going to give you too much because he or she know that you would jump ship real good, and they look at you like your name, Castle to go, because they know you were ghost. And some of you do ghost, then you want to reappear and appear. Paranoid, 21. Some men and women, they are so paranoid. And you wonder how they get that kind of stuff. They so paranoid. And all they do is self-sabotage the relationship. You can't be with a person that's a self-sabotager because they're paranoid. You need to stay away from those people. I hope I'm not talking to none of you brothers and sisters. Number 22, being highly critical. Not only are you criticized, you are highly critical to the point where you are even criticize that person in front of other people. You don't even wait to get behind his or her back. You would do it publicly, like on social media. And everybody know who you're talking about. Everybody have to go get their bag of popcorn because they know you're throwing shades at that person. You lovey-dovey one day on social media, then you'd be throwing out all that poison about your mate because you don't have no pictures. You may have a picture of somebody else. Then all of a sudden you lovey-dovey again, and you have people confused. I thought you and that person will have all these problems. Then you want to start saying, stab my business, but you bring other people in your business because you highly criticize. And that's why a lot of you brothers and sisters, when you go around a person's family and our friends and they treating you cool, then you have a disagreement with that person that you're dating, then you go back around that person's family friend, and then they act different towards you. You better believe that that person that you will went and gave them some acid, and the acid on you. Number 23, you end things regular, in and out. Like the Gap Band sung this song, you can't keep coming in and out of my life. You coming in and out, in and out. Roller coaster relationship. You are self-sabotaging a relationship. And then number 24, you frequently pick fights. Have you brothers ever been in a relationship with someone and you could see a fight coming? You could see it coming because you're so used to their pattern behavior. You could see them, they want to pick up a fight. Some people pick up a fight because they want to go out there and be with somebody else. Have you ever noticed that? You could have a piece of lint on the floor, a piece of lint, and that man or woman pick up the lint and say, didn't you see that piece of lint? And they start a full-fledged argument. Or they want to go on a girl trip or a man trip. That's what they say, right? And they got to figure out some kind of way to go for the whole weekend. So they start an argument. So they bounce out the house, and you call them and text them, they return. Then when they do return, that's when they say, I'm sorry, I had to cool down. But they won't answer their phone. They won't respond to their text. And you were so upset. Hopefully I'm not talking to none of you all. Now, how do you resolve self-sabotaging a good relationship? That's a good question. How do you do it? We're going to go, Jesus answered this question. Jesus said, and I quote from the book of Matthew 22, that's chapter 22, 36 through 40, Matthew 22, 36 through 40, Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 through 40, as it is written, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the laws and the prophets. Listen to what Jesus said. He wrapped it up. To have good relationships, first, it has to be with God. You got to give it all to God. Again, Jesus said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind. And then the second, he said, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That's what we call the golden rule. So if you follow the Lord God through his son Jesus, you learn how to love. The Lord will teach you, show you, and guide you how to love. Therefore, you will love the Lord. You will learn to love yourself. And when you love the Lord and you love yourself, then you are able to love your neighbor. Your neighbor can be the man that you're in a relationship with or the woman that you're in a relationship with. But you got to understand love is God. For God is love. So you got to be connected to God first. Then you discover love, you experience love, and then you are equipped to love another man or woman. Just like God loved you and he forgive you for all your transgression and sin, you will learn that part of love. Then when you get a relationship with a man and woman, you can forgive someone their transgressions and sins. You understand? So you won't self-sabotage the relationship. You yourself, brother, will be a good man. Sister, you yourself will be a good woman. So this is how you avoid it. I just wrapped it up for you. If you have any comments or any question, my brother and sister, you can put it in the comment section and put the word wait, and I will wait for you. That's right. If you have any comments or questions, just put the word wait and formulate your question or your comment. Other than that, my brother and sister, it's time for me to clean up the kitchen. I want to give you some of these good carry-out plates. Go ahead and fill your plate up so you can put it in the microwave for later on and share with other family members and friends and say, I know someone that got some good food for the soul. You need to come to the dinner table. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. And I hope that you all have a good night. Peace out.